Google is a monopolist in online advertising, tech judge says. The judge ruled that Google monopolized the market for two of three sets of products. It was the second time in a year that US court found it had acted illegally to remain dominant. Reporting by David McCabe from Washington. Google acted illegally to maintain a monopoly in some online advertising technology. A federal judge ruled on Thursday, adding to legal trouble that could reshape the 1.86 trillion company and alter its power over the internet. Judge Leonie Brinkma of the U.S. District Court for the Eastern District of Virginia said in a 115-page ruling that Google had broken the law to build its dominance over the largely invisible systems of technology that places advertisements on pages across the web. The Justice Department and a group of states had sued Google, and arguing that its monopoly in ad technology allowed the company to charge higher price and take a bigger portion of its scale. In addition to depriving rivals of the ability to compete, this exclusionary conduct substantially harms Google's publisher, customer, the competitive process, and ultimately consumer of information on the open web, Judge Brinkma said. The Google argued in its case that Google had a monopoly over three parts of the online advertising market: the tools used by online publishers like news sites to host open ad space, and the tools advertisers use to buy an ad space, and the software that facilitates those transactions. Judge Brinkma ruled in the government's favor in two of those findings that Google illegally built a monopoly over the publisher tool and the software system. They dismissed the third, the tools used by advisors, saying government had failed to prove that it constitutes a real and defined market. Google has increasingly faced reckoning over the dominance role its product play in how people get information and conduct business online. Another federal judge ruled in August that the company had a monopoly in online search. He is now considering a request by the Justice Department to break up the company, with the 3-week hearings on the matter scheduled to begin on Monday. Justice Brinkma, too, will have an opportunity to force charges to Google's business on Thursday. She gave both sides 7 days to process a schedule for next phase of the case. In its lawsuit, the Justice Department preemptively asked the court to force Google to sell some pieces of the ad technology business it had acquired over the years. The government will now assess the ruling to determine what to ask the court to remedy of the monopoly. Together, the two rulings and the remedies could check Google's influence and results in major restructurings of the company. We own half of its case and we will appeal the other half, said Leonie Mulholland, the Google's Vice President of Regulatory Affairs. Publishers have many options and they chose Google because our ad tech tools are simple, affordable, and effective. U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi called the ruling a landmark victory in ongoing fight to stop Google from monopolizing the digital public spot. The Department of Justice will continue taking bold legal actions to protect the American people from encroachment on free speech and free markets by tech companies, it said. The case against Google are part of growing push by regulators to rein in the powers of the biggest tech company will shape the commerce, information, communications online. The Justice Department has sued Apple, arguing that the company made it difficult for consumers to live its tightly knit universe of device and software. The Federal Trade Commissions had sued Amazon, accusing it of excusing small businesses and Meta for killing rivals, and when it bought Instagram and WhatsApp, and the trials against Meta started